We're live
All
again.
right, let's cross our
If anybody
fingers.
has found us, thank you. Sorry for that
Yeah,
tech stuff. It's like sometimes it is the tech gods are with you, and sometimes they aren't.
sometimes we're not. Well, good. I do see us on the page, so that's good.
Yeah.
And we are back. So we see your demo cam, and I'm there, and you're there. Great. Awesome, 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 awesome. Yay. Hi, everybody. Hello. We're finally here.
Yeah, I'm checking. I want to check and make sure we're live on
We
the
are.
various places.
Now,
We
I'm
are.
not from the group. Have you shared us to the group? Because I can do that if you like.
No, I streamed to the group. So
Well, you stream to the page, right? Should we share to the group?
I streamed to both.
Oh, you are the best.
Oh.
All right. Well, Rosalinda says hi. And so does Cindy. Welcome back. Thanks, you guys. We made it. Yeah. And I'm so dependent on other people's tech savvy. So I really appreciate Tracy's calm, cool, collected, level-headed, working at the tech until it works. So that's awesome.
It was definitely how fast can I set up another stream?
And of course, it was so funny because every time one of these things happened, it's something different. So the constant Max Headroom style repetition of weird sounds was different. That was a new one for me. So
yeah, that was not something I'm trying to, and I'm still also trying to get my other camera to.
Well, you do that, and I'll say hi to everybody. Jane is here. Hey, hey, hey. And Kristen was going to pin some stuff. Thank you, Kristen. You rock. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Kimberly. She says hi to all of us. Trish is here. Michelle is here. Patty is here. Hey, everybody. Good to see you guys. So I don't know if you've been watching everybody else. Tracy's working on trying to get her demo camera set up. I think my demo camera just broke the camel's back. I had that one on originally, and that's probably what messed it all up. So we're gonna at least to be able to see what Tracy's up to. So that sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So as soon as I can. So okay, let's do this, Christy. I know that you have some stuff.
I do
to play with. Okay, first of all, tell us about the tragedy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys. Well, I can't hear you, Tracy. Say it again.
Oh, I'm going to solo you and tell us what happened. Okay, so if everybody's already seen some of the Great Bead Extravaganza stuff, they know that all the companies put it together, package of stuff, and send it to everybody. Did you get yours?
And I'll take it from there. You play with your tech on your end. Thank you, Tracy. So yeah, you guys probably know how this works, but each of us that choose to participate among the Great Bead Extravaganza participants all send stuff together, and then a kit is made and redistributed to us. Well, myself and Jamie are off in Hawaii, and everything takes longer to get to us. So neither one of us got our kits just yet. So we're talking about we'll do maybe an unboxing together and just have a little follow-up collaboration. But I do happen to have the thing that I made, so I have that at least, and I do have some ingredients here for creating with you that won't exactly be what's in the bag, but Tracy very kindly took a picture and kind of shared, and you guys have seen some of the stuff that's in there. It's really great what the goodies are because each one of the participants, and it's different ones of us each time that participate, but everybody puts something fun in there. And then the fun is just to watch and see how each of us designers play with it. So what I contributed was this little faceted bead. And if you want to buy any of these beads for me, I do happen to have them in my website for now. And the people who are participating, most of us have all decided that, for a limited time. Some of this is for a day, others of us is for until the end of the month. We have one code to rule them all, where you can use that little code on any of our participating sites and get different discounts, usually around 15%. So that is TGBT, the Great Bead Trade, TGBT. And you just enter that in promo code area when you're going to our different sites. And for a limited time, it'll give you a discount. So please go do that if you want. So look at Tracy's got her demo cam set up.
And I'm dumping out my bag of goodies.
Yeah. So there's so much new stuff in there, and it's really fun to see what everybody contributes. I always love it. You know, Green Girl always has, Cynthia always had such a fantastic pewter, her creations. And then we've always, from Neely, we've always got some sort of silver silk thing going on, and lots of nifty wires from Soft Flex. I know TierraCast, you are always contributing a lot of the connectors and things that is really, really necessary. So you've got just a great cast of stuff there. And we talked
for this particular group, Sarah just said, hey, we're going to need some copper findings. So I threw together little bags of head pins, eye pins, jump rings, ear wires. So that
looks like some clasps and things in there too. Yeah, that's awesome. And I love your stuff because it's always such good quality, really heavy. I don't mean heavy in terms of wearing, but just like solid. It's classy. TierraCast stuff is always super awesome. So that's very cool to do.
Yeah.
And you know, I think, oh yeah, and I liked, who did that little leaf thing? Who's that coming from?
That came from this one right here. This one right here, Christy?
That one, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a little ceramic leaf, and it did come in the Soft Flex package.
Oh, nice.
They really put together a nice, because, all right, so, you know, there's the new Pantone palette, and so all of these colors go with that palette. So Sarah did a great job curating that. And we've got some just...
That was a cool palette. I really like that. I like that waterfall and rose violet color, you know, and then the offsetting it with, I think, navy and copper, I think was the adjacent colors. That was just a really nice look.
I always love copper with lavenders and purples and pinks. So I'm pretty happy with this the setup. Now, Christy, did you or did you not get some stuff out to play with? Well, you did.
I got some stuff to play with, yes. So what I thought I would do is I would just demonstrate a little bit, because I always do epoxy clay. And I'm seeing everybody pop in, by the way. Motorcraft says there's a terrible echo. Emily, I don't hear it on my end, but we have had trouble with that before. So I'm hoping that resolves. Does anybody else hear that echo? Let us know, and we'll do what we can. We think we've solved it on this end now, but if that's still bothering people, let me know. I don't know if it's us anymore. It used to be. If I can just mention, Stanhill says, I love your bead, Christy. I already ordered mine, but I screwed up the code. Don't worry, I will catch that, and you can email me so I don't miss that. I will go back and refund you the code. If you ordered and it didn't work for you or whatever, just message me and I'll make sure. Cindy says she's got a slight echo. Trish is hearing it as well. Stanhill is still hearing it a bit. My apologies, you guys. I'm sure it's my fault because I usually can ruin technology somehow. Karen says no echo now. So we're going to cross our fingers and blame it on the internet instead of me.
So whenever you want the solo view, just type in and let me know. And then right now,
for you, I'll go ahead and do it now. And then I'll just try not to take up too much. And Tracy, you can just interject as much as you like. Let me flip my camera around, and then I can show you my desk, and I'll just start doing stuff while you get your stuff ready. Does that sound all right, Tracy?
It sounds great. I'm going to actually
hold on to your hats. I'm going to spin around like I do.
I'm just going to start kind of sort through this stuff and see what kind of inspiration comes. And then by the time we switch back to me, maybe there will be something to show for it. Maybe there won't be. We'll see.
Well, that sounds awesome. So I think I've got my camera spun around so you can see my place. Forgive me, you guys. I know that's like the lowest tech version of getting my space ready. I really was going to try to set up a second camera, but that just had issues today. So I think this is the best we can do at the moment. So this is the little faceted beads that I created. And if you are a member of my creative circle, it's a $10 a month membership thing. This is one of the projects that you will get in September the 1st when the new project starts. You'll get how to make this faceted bead. Otherwise, you can buy some on my site if you feel like it. But I really love this. So that's one of the only things I have obviously accessible to me from the kit. But I also have a little piece of silver silk. It's not exactly the same color as Neely put in the kit, but I've got a little piece of silver silk. And then I just got some random little beads and things. And I thought what I would do very quickly is just use my epoxy clay, mix it up to show you guys how that works, and just begin designing something with epoxy clay, because this is a little different than Tracy and others that do jewelry design from the components in the kit would do, because I tend to be sculptural, and I work a lot with various clays, polymer and epoxy. And I have a lot more videos and ways for you to kind of see what I'm doing with epoxy clay, but I'll give you a quick little taste of it today. So epoxy clay comes in two parts. It's a putty. You mix them together, and it's a nice sticky little putty, and you've got about an hour to 2 hours of work time, and then it takes about 4 to 6 hours to start setting up really firmly, and then 24 hours for a full cure. And you just get to shove things in it. So what I've done is I've taken 2 equal parts of part A and part B, and I'm just going to mix them together. I'm gloved up so that I can, there is still a little bit of an echo, Sally, I hear that. And hopefully we can make it all work. I think as Tracy's getting stuff done on her end, we hear some of that stuff on her end too, so that could be what you're hearing. But it's
Chris,
yeah.
I'm going to put both of us up.
Okay, perfect. So you can watch Tracy kind of playing some stuff at the same time. Excellent. I like that. Because Tracy's going to do the same kind of thing. Is she's going to drag out her stuff and start putting things together as well.
I have to see if I can make this work. I want to. All right. Here's how I'm going to do it.
She's got a plan, you guys. She's got a plan.
I'm going to remove me from the stream and turn the mic on my other. So we'll see how that
works. All right. Well, I'm going to just keep on talking until you tell me not to. Nope. That's that crazy echo thing we had going earlier. Yep. Technology.
That just makes me echo. So.
Yeah. Technology is so awesome until it isn't.
Yes. Right.
Well, I like that everybody's I was watching. I'm really so glad to see all of you guys. Terry says, I'm excited to see how the eyelash is used. Such a beautiful component. Is that the one with the little eyeball things, Terry? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you looking at, there may be something else that I'm not seeing. So give me more details, because that sounds exciting. I don't have the kit in front of me, so I don't quite know all the little things. So that'll be fun. Okay, so epoxy clay, I've mixed it up thoroughly. I've got my 2 parts, and now it's ready for me to play with. And Tracy is, as she gets stuff done, she is just gonna, jump in with what she's up to as well. So Tracy, don't let me hog up all the air in the room, okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit of goofing around with the beads, the materials, and I'll pop in here and there and just with my video, and just let people see what's going on.
Oh, sounds terrific. But that is kind of the fun, I think, of these things, is we've got 2 different people. It's kind of like when you're getting together with one of your buddies and you're just talking while you each are creating. It's just kind of fun. And this is something that I do a lot. I like little wall pieces that can double as brooches or pendants or whatever. But I tend to do a lot of more sculptural things for no reason other than I just enjoy it. So what I've done is I've taken a bit of my epoxy clay and I've turned it into an oval, and I've spread it out a bit, and I'm going to put my bead right in the middle of that and then work around it and just build around it. Good afternoon, Janet. Hi, Karen. Hi, Trish. Hi, everybody. The fuzzy yarn that Tracy has. Oh yeah, that's the eyelash stuff you were talking about, Terry. Great. Well, hopefully Tracy will use that and give you some ideas.
I'm gonna highlight that if I can. To show you guys. Every time I bring myself back, we get all 3 of us. So I really wanted to just show my workbench, but yeah, fuzzy yarn, and this one. And I, as I'm unpacking, I kind of lose track of who sent what. So whoever sent this one, it's like I don't know if it's a silk ribbon or what, but I love it, and I want to know who sent it because I want more of it.
Oh yeah, there was a little bag full of the silk ribbons and stuff, which I thought was fun. And yeah, that's like that wire lace type stuff. I like that.
No,
That's nice.
this one is not. It's a very soft silk ribbony type of thing.
Oh, okay. So it's a silk. Okay,
Oh, and I want more. I want more. So
so we got to find out whose bag full of goodies that was.
right.
Probably one of our group will jump in and tell us because they all got the different the bags too. So whoever contributed that component will hopefully pop in. Terry said it had to be like Christmas opening the bundle. It always is, isn't it? Because we never quite know what's in there. We're always doing it at the last minute, and so when you get it, it is a surprise for all of us. So what I did is I took my silver silk because this is a big opening, right? And I wanted something to be coming out of that. And I just tucked it back behind. The nifty thing about epoxy clay is it's a putty, but it's a glue. So whatever I shove in there is just going to stick and stay put, which I love. So now I've got, this is a little extra. I'm going to put that off to the side. Now I've got sort of like a focal bit that can become something more dramatic, or I could put a loop up here and turn it into a pendant or something like that, kind of seeing your box out, the bead outside the box, as it were. Okay, the ribbon and the yarns came from K at Star Beads. Thank you, Kristen. That is wonderful. I kind of thought that might have been K, but that's a nice grouping. And my guess is that Kay does have that available on her site with that discount coupon. So if you guys like that, go on over to Kay at Star Beads and find that is probably, highlighted or in the, new things or whatever, however that is. Thanks, Rosalinda was confirming that. Oh, that sounds great. Thank you guys.
Yeah, and
we have too many
that brings up something, Christy. There's different sales happening. You guys, you people, all of you who sell retail, and that doesn't include us, unfortunately, because we're a wholesale manufacturer.
That's right.
But you guys have different specials, and the stuff we're using is available in the stores, right?
Yes. Not always everything that is in the kits is available in the stores, but we've all tried pretty hard to make whatever we're showcasing be available for other people to buy. Because in times past, we haven't always done that, and people have seen us making things, and they're like, "Well, I want that stuff too." And we're
right. I want to play.
But this time, we all were trying super hard to make that available. So I know I put my bead up this time, which is different for me. And obviously everybody else is always on top of things. So they've got that going on. So yeah, thank you for that. But I do love that fiber. It just is nice to have fibers. It really brings out an interesting look when you're creating, that kind of softness of a fiber has a great contrast to beads and metal findings.
Oh my goodness. You know what? There's two. I'm just going to, I'm going to switch so people can see what I'm doing for a minute.
Cool.
I've not got very far yet.
Awesome. I'm just using, while she's going to spin us around, I'm just using some beads that are already strung up. And this is a really good cheater way to add them into the epoxy clay, as you can see. But anyway, Tracy, show us what you're up to.
Really, I'm just moving beads around so far. I feel like, we got a little bit of a late start, so I feel like things
we're going to take as long as we want.
That is a very, very, very good point. I'm not going to open my brand new roll of 22 gauge wonderful craft art. I already have one open. So, but I feel like I'm just going to throw some things around and wiggle them around until they feel like they're starting to gel.
And to me, that's a very important part of composition. I'm a big fan of that, is that things start to compose themselves when you are looking at them, but you have to kind of get them out and let them start making their own connections. So that act of just sort of putting them out there and wiggling them around and just kind of regrouping and moving and shifting the deck, that's important to get.
I like the way you put that. You said something that I love the way it sounded. You have to move them around until you didn't say find their place. What the heck did you say? It was perfect.
I don't know. But whatever it was great. Hopefully somebody's taking notes, right?
Right. Somebody told us that Christy said that was perfect.
Well, it is. I'm a big, it's probably something to the effect that I'm a big believer in the fact that as much as you create, you start to develop this weird sixth sense of seeing a thing creating itself in front of you and recognizing that and going with it. So it's as though the components themselves have an idea and you are just experienced enough to see what it is. And that just takes time and, practice. But then once you are at that stage, creativity becomes really interesting because it's almost happening on a meditative level. It's like, it's not a fight anymore. It's not a struggle, it's a flow. And it doesn't happen all the time. And it's not like that's always going to be that way. But I have found that I'm finally, after all of a lifetime of creating, to that stage where stuff just creates itself most of the time. And it's just a joy. I love this part of life. It's very cool. And
when you let things happen instead of forcing them to happen. I'm inspired to try and wire wrap this bead of yours so that I can hang it horizontally. So I'm going to play with that for a little bit, but I'm going to put you back in the solo layout.
You got it, girl. But a couple of people were mentioning, that they're finding their connections. Yes, letting the things find their connections. I usually, when I'm about to create something, I put all of this stuff around me, and I may use all of it. I may use hardly any of it, but it needs to be there to give my brain places to land. And I find that that's a very helpful part of the process. Now, I don't have everything in the kit. As I mentioned, my kit isn't here yet. So I have a few things that are similar to what was in the kit. And I have already looked at that kit and going, ooh, I could see what I could do with that and with that and with that and with that. Just there's so many ideas that pop in my brain. And you've also noticed that I am asymmetrical. So I've started this, but I haven't felt compelled to go right around and around the bead. I've kind of got off center with it, and I'm going to accentuate that off-centeredness because I'm an off-centered kind of person. So if you take it that way, don't fight it, man. Just let it be. Janine says, I put beads together on a tray and let them tell me which other beads and such they want to be with. That is finding their connection. And Janine says, love the fibers from K2. I can't wait to get the September Creative Circle project for making the Christi bead here. And I think those fibers are going to go great with that, Janine. So maybe in the circle, you can remind us or remind me to put up a link for Kay's fiber pack, because that would definitely be a nice thing to add to our project. Thank you for bringing that up. Janine obviously is in the circle, has been forever, ever. And we have some fun in there doing stuff.
That sounds like a blast. So I'm going to switch and let everybody see what I'm doing for a minute.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, because it's ugly as sin, but what I want to do is
I find that hard to believe. I don't think so.
I want to be able to hang this leaf from the bottom. Like I said, I want to use this horizontally, and I want to be able to hang the leaf. So I'm just making the ugliest wire wrap you ever saw. But, sometimes you just got to do the speed.
You just got to get her done. Yep.
Yeah. I was hoping I could wiggle a jump ring into the top of this little pretty leaf, ceramic leaf, but I'm going to have to wire wrap too, because that's what's going to hang at the bottom.
Oh, I love that idea. I love that. The dangly things are such fun, aren't they?
Yes.
There's something about that. We tend to think of necklaces in terms of like curved circles or whatever, but when you kick it off lariat style and you start making things that are, just dangling like bolo or lariats, I mean, that's kind of a cool look.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I do feel like I'm making progress. You tell me whenever you want me to. You got something you need to show people?
If I'm about to start something so exciting that I can't stand it, you're going to know about it.
Yeah, well, and I want everybody to be able to see what you're doing.
Right. So far, I'm just putting down some of those base beads. That's pretty boring. It's like watching paint dry at the moment, so don't even worry. Good. And I see. I'm just going to hello to Vicky. A shout out, Janelda, Angel. A bunch of you have popped in, and Patty. If I haven't said hi to you, just know that I saw you scroll by, but did not say something for no reason other than somebody else or whatever. Hi, Shaquita, right? Shaquita. Nice to see you, and Rosalinda and Kimberly. Boy, the gang is all here, man. All right, so what you got going on now?
I'm just still working on my little wire wrap thing. I've I ran some craft wire through the bead a couple of times, and then I've just formed a little loop down at the bottom. There's a jump ring on
that.
So it's a little bit messy, but I just formed a little loop down there.
Like that is very cool.
Now I'm just finishing it off with some loops here so that it will be a link. And then in theory, I'm going to attach something to that, I love it. To turn it into something usable, turn it into a necklace. I think this is definitely a necklace. It's absolutely not a bracelet.
Well, yeah, it's probably those beads are too wide to be a comfortable bracelet. I mean, it could be like a fashion statement bracelet, but not a one that's really easy to wear. So I think that I like how you've got that with the wire for the dangle. That's pretty sweet. I love wire. I don't do a lot of wire wrapping myself, but I really love how that looks. It's just for not having practiced much, so I don't usually go there when I'm doing it. I just love how wire looks. It's just such fun.
Well, in a previous life, I studied a whole lot of calligraphy. So I love line. I love grace lines. I love the way you can use line in design. So wire really appeals to me.
That makes sense.
That way.
Yeah. Wire is almost like a 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I do love me some wire wrapping, and I would really like to someday take some classes to do some of the really beautiful stuff that people do.
I've seen some of that. It's just mind-blowing, some of that stuff.
My wire work is more functional than pretty at this point.
Well, luckily you are also pretty with your functionality, so we don't have to pretend to like it. We can just actually like it. So that's good.
I'm going to highlight you so people can see what you're up to now.
I am just goofing around over here and pressing in different things. Obviously, you can tell that this is a material that lends itself to very sculptural and mosaic-y kind of a thing. So that's what I'm doing. So what I did here is I finished up a bit more of this asymmetrical weirdness going on over here. And I had some purpley pink, well, not that color. What were they calling it? Rose violet, I think it was.
Oh, in the Pantone.
Right.
I don't know. I've been so busy this week, I did not pay that much attention.
Yeah, I think they called the aqua color water spout, which I loved. And I think this was like a rose violet or something like that. But anyway, I had a couple of Swarovskis that I shoved in here. And this is something I like to do is I've got like a little bicone off on end, and I want to put just a little head pin in there to kind of make it look decorative. But that's a big wide hole. So I am taking a bit of my epoxy clay and just shovering it right down in that hole, so that this little wiry thing has something to grab onto. Otherwise, it's just sucking air, and that's no fun. So I'm going to put that in, and that lets that hole look finished and not unfinished. So you see, I've got that little nip sticking up there, which I think looks pretty fun. And then I want to mention, Tracy, we were talking about, TierraCast has the copper findings and stuff that are part of the kit, and I don't have those in front of me, so I'm going to fake it with just some copper wire. But one of the things I do is when I'm using head pins for decorative purposes, I end up taking off part of the wire. Well, I don't throw that away. I keep all those little snippets because I can use those in a very interesting way with my epoxy clay as well. So I'm going to mimic the look of a whole bunch of wire ends, mostly head pin type stuff. And one of the things that's kind of fun to do is just to lay these in. You see, because you can have some of that epoxy clay showing. It doesn't have to be all covered up. It can be. But look at how fun this looks by just shoving in these little cut ends and creating sort of a visual crescendo of colors. It like echoes what I've done here with these beads, but it's just a kind of a fun little way to use those little niplets that are left.
Christi, someone is asking what the kind of goldenrod orange piece of material is that you're working on.
Thank you. Yeah, I just see that Trish asked that. Trish, that is a silicone mat. So I actually get this one from Avies, which is who makes the epoxy clay. I carry the epoxy clay on, epoxy sculpt. Epoxy sculpt is an epoxy clay. So I carry this in the smaller sizes on my site. You can also get it from them directly. They carry that, and they also carry these little mats. But you can wander over to my site and pick up the epoxy clay. But these little mats, I have an epoxy clay starter kit. And it's got a little section of mat like that in there. But if you go on Amazon or wherever, you can, find those baking sheets. They're not as heavy. They're usually a little bit more flexible, but they work fabulously as well. So that's all it is. And the reason why, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Trish, is that this, if I just work directly on like tile, this is a glue. It will glue itself onto the tile. And now you have a wall piece, whether you wanted to or not. So you have a non-stick surface to work on. And I find that these silicone mats work so well. But you also could use, a Ziploc baggie or whatever. You don't have to have the silicone, but it's kind of the best. So Jody said, hi, Jody, by the way, great tip about saving the ends of the snippets to use for other projects. And if I can, Tracy, keep talking and tell me to shut up if you're ready for me to shut up.
You can keep talking, and I will just like pop in and yelp if I think I need to.
Oh, perfect. And you can spin it back to you if you want, because I'm kind of doing a repetitive thing here, so you might want to put it back on you. But this little section right here, I'll tell you where the inspiration of this came from. And this is part of my, I think all of us that are artistic people know that inspiration is like everywhere. And every time that we see something interesting, I have little notebooks that I carry with me all the where I am, because sometimes I see something, I go, oh, I got to write that down, because you will not remember it. I'm just saying, you will not remember it. So I was in Japan, and we went to this way cool little place, and it was a place that made Baumkuchen, which is like a circular cake. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so the interior of this little tea house where you could get your tea and some of the cake was decorated in the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So they had taken logs and turned them into charcoal and then broken the charcoal apart. And the beams had charcoal places on them, and where it hit the walls had been plastered, and then all these little bits of charcoal were embedded, and they started out really dense around the log, and then they fanned out in just this kind of like open little charcoal galaxy. And that just stuck in my brain. And so I've done that when I'm doing some of this designing, is that I'll take little snippets of things and start dense and then work them out into more and more scattered. And I just love that look. I think that is really a fun thing. So anyway, that's where that comes from.
I highlighted my workspace because I just wanted to brag a little bit. That Softlex has these wonderful magic, what they call magic crimpers, magic crimping pliers.
Oh.
And for the first time ever, I am successfely using pliers.
The magic is working. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Because I've used them before, and I've used them with our own crimp tubes, and they don't quite work because they're just a slightly different size. But Laura included their crimp tubes in this little collection of stuff, and success. So I'm bragging because I did it, Sarah.
Crimping is magical, isn't it?
I did it.
Oh, that looks great. I love crimping. It's such a cool way of attaching stuff. I remember the first time I ever crimped something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who invented this? Because this is brilliant. This is just so brilliant. Oh, I love it, Tracy. I love that. That looks so great. So what are you going to put on the strands?
I'm going to, there's some beautiful little glass beads here that was in the little packet from Allegory Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not sure who sent the little eyeball beads.
I like those. Those are really cool. Speak up if anybody knows who has those eyeball beads, because those are interesting.
They're just cute. So I'm just stringing some of these. It's turning into a quite colorful and chunky design, and I think that's perfectly all right.
Awesome.
And then
when you design, do you tend towards the chunky or the more slender, delicate?
We have to rephrase the question. If I'm designing for something for me to wear, it's kind of a somewhere in between. I don't tend to personally wear things that are really big and chunky, unless it's some big occasion where I need big and chunky.
Right.
But for the most part, the jewelry that I wear is fairly understated.
That's
So
what I would have guessed. You look like a delicate flower.
Okay, I'll take that.
And I mean that in the best possible way. I'm like a big falling down the stairs always happening. So I tend to be a little bit more giant clumpiness.
I don't feel like a delicate flower. So when people describe me in that sort of way, I'm always like, I don't get it.
Well, you do. You have a classiness about you.
Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, what I'm making today is probably not something I will wear, but somebody will like it.
Well, that's an interesting thing as a designer. Like, I'm to the point in whatever the hell it is that I'm doing creatively, where I only make things that I like. I don't do like production work. I don't do stuff, to fill up a booth at shows. I only make whatever amuses me in the moment. And I hope that at some point, somewhere along the line, somebody will want it.
Well,
which is an interesting place to be in, but not everybody has that part of their life or wants to.
So when you say it's something you only make what you like, but does that mean that it's something that you would wear?
I hardly ever wear jewelry. So most of the stuff I make are things that are absolutely useless. It's like, here's a thing that is interesting. You could put it on the wall, maybe, so I make useless stuff, and I am so fine with that.
Yeah, like you said, somebody is going to like it. And
right. I do make some pendants, so I do make things to wear from time to time. I'll make beads and I'll make pendants. So other people put them into stuff. But it's been so long since I actually made wearable art. And I used to, when I first started, I made, that was back in the day where there was those big collars and big dramatic necklaces, lots of seed beading and everything on them. And I made a lot of big necklaces, which I'm rather proud of. But it's been ages since I've, actually designed something that start to finish is wearable.
Huh, interesting. And you are, absolutely, you are a sculptor. So yeah. By the way, I'm absolutely enamored with your little mer people these days.
Oh, thank you.
Every time I see one, I just want it.
Oh, thank you. I've had a lot of fun with those. They're cool. But it is fun, just to be able to indulge your little whims and like, that's what I want to make. So that's what I'm going to do. And luckily there's enough people who go, yeah, okay, we'll indulge you and we'll enjoy that and buy some from you. So I'm very lucky it's been a long time in coming. It's been, a quarter of a decade to get to the spot where I can make whatever I want and have people go, yeah, that's good. We'll follow along. And I'm very grateful for that. It's a wonderful thing to be doing.
Christy, that's an absolute dream.
It is. It really is. And I think when people think about like earning a living at art, that's where they hope to get to, that you could just make the things that amused you and that would be enough to pay the bills, and it's like a friend of mine once said, it's like you hardly ever hear a jewelry artist or whatever go, what am I going to do with all this money? That's just not usually how it goes. We're usually just making it day by day like anybody else. But if you can get to the point of making it a living by something that you find passion in, that is a beautiful place to be. And I'm very lucky to say that that's what my life is right now. And I'm grateful for that. It's been a lot of long days to get there, but I'm loving my life right now.
Someone is saying, Sally is saying she wants a wearable mer person. Me too, Sally. I want one.
Well, thank you. That was something that I have kind of on the figuring out, like how to make them as little pendants and stuff like that on a bigger scale so that I could keep up with demand. So I'm working on it. I promise. I'm really, really glad. Thank you for mentioning that. Janine says, I love how it's looking, Tracy. You should wear it. Step out of your comfort zone. You could pull it off, I think. I agree with Janine.
You know what, though? I am old enough to be like, now that I know what my comfort zone is, that's where I go. And I will. Yeah. I've been on this like refurbishing my closet stage of like, I'm getting rid of the shit that I don't. Did I say that on camera?
I heard nothing. I think you're good.
I don't.
By the way, it was Soft Lex who put those little eyeball beads, the evil eye beads.
Okay. I'm just going with what I like that makes me comfortable. So I'm past the age of wanting to step out of my comfort zone. Hey, I'm going to highlight you. again, Christi, and somebody said you can like move your camera down so that they can get a little bit of a closer view. Is that possible?
I can do that. Okay, hold on, guys, while we do this. And let's see if I can get a little closer. I'm always hesitant of getting too close because it like wants, I haven't figured out how to turn the button so that it doesn't try to focus constantly on whenever my hands are moving around, you know? So it's going in and out of focus all the time. There's a way to do that, and I haven't figured it out yet, but I think that's better, right? And let me just bring this up for a second and just show you what we see so far. So you see what we got so far?
You've got bugle beads, and those are your little pieces of wire, and you're just, it almost looks like bead embroidery.
Yes, very much so. This is the cheating way to do bead embroidery because you just shove them in. You don't got to do any of the hard stuff that bead embroidery requires. You just start shoving things around. And I love shoving. That is my favorite. So, yeah, I'm sorry it's not as clear as it could be. Sorry about that. I made a big, let's see, somebody said they made a huge bling bloom necklace this week that channels my fondness for bold accessories. Oh, Kristen, I'm so glad to hear that. I'd love to see a picture of that if I haven't seen it already. I think I might have seen a picture and it looked really great. We did a bling bloom, which was another epoxy clay and bead thing. But what I'm doing now, by the way, is I've done all these tube beads that are lying down to establish the lines, right? And I've echoed the lines with these little snippets of business. And now I'm sticking them in at an angle to create a sort of porcupine effect because that's fun for me. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of filling in some of the gaps with these sticking up bits. All right. So that's what I'm doing. If you want to go back, Tracy, and show what you got going on, girl.
I'll see where I'm going with it now. So I can't, whoops, my effort just fell apart. You know, I love this beautiful, but it doesn't quite go. I was trying to wrap it, to wire wrap it to the rest, but I think I have to save this for another use because it's just not quite what the rest of this necklace wants. So,
which I think is a pretty interesting thing because sometimes we have an abundance of materials and we want all of them to work, but sometimes they don't. And sometimes less is more, and you just have to deal with that and not give in to the impulse to kind of overwhelm the eye by too many things.
It's
true. It's easy to do. I mean, I love that. I love more, but sometimes you just got to go, that's enough, stop, you know? At least that's what I tell myself you have to do. I don't know. I may or may not actually ever do that, but anyway.
So what's going to happen instead is this piece that is just screaming color is going to get a whole bunch of this eyelash ribbon instead.
Nice. Eyelash ribbon's coming into play, kids. I know we were waiting for it.
Comfort zone. Goodness. I wonder if I can braid this together.
Oh, that could be interesting.
It's a little crazy.
That is such an interesting little ribbon. Let's see. We posted on Softflex blog this week. There's the piece. Okay, that's where the bling bloom that you made is, Kristen. Thank you. Awesome. Jody says, Christy, that's beautiful close up. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad. The colors look good. Yay. Frankie, Grace and Frankie, my muse. Yeah. The gal who designs Frankie's stuff. Oh gosh, her name just vanished from my brain. I'll think of it in a bit. But yeah, she makes some amazing necklaces, and there's a lot of big, bold fun going on with those, which is nifty. Cool. I love all the sharings, guys. Thank you. Vicky says I'm going to make the Mercat into a pendant. Oh, fantastic. I love that. Let's see. A couple people coming, having it taken off, and going to watch the replay later. Awesome. We're doing really good on time, even with our slow start.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what time we're supposed to go till. Are we just shooting?
Well, 45 minutes or so, but we're the last, so nobody else has to be on. Or an hour, I guess. An hour. And we're coming up to an hour now, so that means we've done well. You know, we haven't gone over, even though we had a little slower start. So we can take longer too.
Yeah, I would love to just stay on long enough to kind of, I know where I'm going with this now. And to finished, that would be great. If I don't, we also, when we're done with these designs, you guys, we post them on the Great Bead Extravaganza page,
Yes.
both the
group and the page, right? So you can kind of see what's going on.
Of the finished stuff.
Right.
But if I can get it to close to finish before we leave here.
I believe in you. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. This is turning out to be quite fun.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's something like you're being able to just sit still for an hour and make something. That's always really nice, because I don't know about everybody. I obviously do this for a living. So that means I have a lot more creativity time than many people do. But I mean, some of you who are creative are still making blogs or doing stuff for your companies or whatever. So your actual time of sitting down and making is never as long and as often as we wish. For some reason, that just seems to be the way life is, that it doesn't work out for us to create as much as we want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to show you a little something here. So I've got the basis of this is done. I've got my crazy thing here, and I've offset it with a couple little things over here. I've taken my tool and I have just put lines into the surface so that anything that doesn't have a detail in it still has something that looks finished. And I'm going to look over the whole thing and go, you know what? It needs something else. So I don't know if it needs another thing here or both. I have a couple of more weirdo beads. The nifty thing about epoxy clay is that you can put stuff on top of other stuff. So let me lift this up again, and I'll try to do this so that you can actually see. All right, I'm going to hold that there. Can you guys see that a little bit? There we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little ball. Remember, I pulled some off. This is something I always do. And I apologize if I try to get it close, made it like very difficult to see, but I'm going to try. I save some because sometimes I want to put things on top of things. So I'm going to just take a ball here and press it into place, and then take one of these other nifty beads that I have and stick it right in here. Now I'm going to lose that bead a little bit in terms of color. So I'm going to look around and see if within grabbing distance, if I have anything else to put in there instead, because this one is going to get lost because it's a black background. So I've got other garbage lying around. I think this could work. I've got a fun thing there. I'm going to take this little melon bead and I'm going to stick this one right in here. And I'll put that little head pin in again. But you look at that, how, it could just go right on top of things for no reason. And that's the wonderful thing about working with epoxy clay. It is just so accommodating of your weird notions, of which I have a lot of weird notions. So there's that. Now, doesn't that make that look a little bit more exciting over there? And
that's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. And then I'm going to add one more over here. And then I think my piece will be essentially done. But I did a really simple piece, Tracy. I didn't do all the hard work that you're doing. I kind of did the easy version. I like this, but I don't have enough of those. So
yeah. And something interesting has happened with my setup. My phone actually shut down because it decided it was too hot. It decided it was too hot. And
no.
So
how frustrating. Ugh.
I know. That's never happened before. I don't know what the scoop is, but so I don't actually know if I can get it to come back on. So I'm just going to leave the solo view on you. And when I get
tech picks up, then it's great. And if not, you guys make sure you tune in to see. She'll post the finished thing when she's got it. So you got to check it out and make sure you can see how it all came together. If it doesn't come back before the end of the thing here, which we're going to cross our fingers that it'll come back.
Yeah, and I'm just going to continue working on it. And if it gets to where I can hold it up and show you guys, then I will do that.
Awesome. Well, I had two of these little Melanie beads within arm's reach, so I'm going to just put another one there and then see if it needs anything else. But this is typically how I work, and I think you're doing the same, Tracy, is you start off with your main concept, right? And you just make that happen. And then you look at it and go, well, now what? Is it missing something? Does it need something else? How is the balance? I tend to go for asymmetrical balance. And to me, this is kind of working, is I've got this, I made this kind of go off on its own a little bit differently than the other side. and I put a cluster of heavy stuff down there. So I want to offset it up on the top with something else. So I'm just kind of always trying to get the balance. And sometimes by turning things upside down or looking at them from a different side, you'll get a sense of if something is missing or awkward. Do you do that sometimes, like just spin it around so you can see if there's something missing?
Absolutely. And another thing that, especially if I'm like really in an intense design period, I will, if things just feel like they're stuck or I can't make any decisions anymore, I'll just totally walk away from it for a day.
That's a smart idea. Yeah.
Back.
You know what? That I think is a really important thing to know, because many people are I know some people call them completers. It's like you are itchy until you finish whatever it is you started, right? But sometimes the decision-making process has become compromised by fatigue, hunger, frustration, whatever it is. And if your desire to finish overrides your common sense of, I need to walk away so I can come back with fresh eyes, then there can be this conflict where you need to finish it, but it's not going to be your best work because you're not in a good place.
No, stop, walk away.
Walk away, yeah. So maybe you can allow yourself to be like, okay, I'm only going to work for this for an hour. And then I'm going to evaluate if I can go for another hour or whatever, so that you can complete the task assigned, but it's not like completing the design is your task. It's, little snippets of completions. So I don't know, that might be helpful for some people. I have no problem just stopping and wandering off and being other kinds of chaos, because that seems to be who I am. But I know a lot of people do struggle with that. And so if that's a thing you are, maybe that's a little bit of a helpful something.
Yeah. So you're on solo right now, but I'm going to switch this solo because I threw this onto a bust. I mean, it's not
okay to see how it's going to lay.
Yeah, it's not finished because it needs to be wire wrapped. Ha! This fuzzy, that's just
there you are.
Entertaining. Yeah. So then what'll happen is this will get I'll complete the work with the fiber.
Oh, I like that.
I will put a clasp on the back there. So
I like how that fiber contrasts with the big chunky crystals. That's a great contrast.
I may even add another strand because it feels like it wants to be really fuzzy. So I've got more here. I may add another strand of it to get.
Yeah, I agree. Really fuzzy is what it's asking for sure. I agree with you there, boy.
Yeah. A little more visual weight.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. I love it. Well, I guess we're probably coming to the end of our segment, right? I'm going to flip my camera around so that next time you showcase me, it'll be my face again.
We could call it good. We can both continue working on our little project.
I will put this up. There we go.
Oh, that's looking so fun. Now I won't finish mine and get it posted till Monday, but
well, that's the interesting thing with epoxy clay is because it's a time limit. You have only a certain amount of time to work. I tend to only put the amount that I actually can accomplish in an hour and a half. And if I'm making a big piece, I do it in sections. So I'll do a little chunk and then I'll add. So that way I'm not stressed. But there are some times when I think that I'm going to be able to do it and I'm like, oh no, this is not going to work. And so I just kind of flatten everything else down so I can put another layer right over the top and work on it and continue it. But it is nice to be able to have like with a necklace, this like there's no time constraint. You're not worried about your materials drying or whatever. So being able to keep adding and adding and adding, you have that luxury to be able to do that. There's no reason why you can't. So that's kind of nice. But it also can sometimes mean you never finish because there's always something more to add.
Yeah. You got to know when to say when, I guess. And sometimes I can be good at that and sometimes not as much.
I know you're very good with that because I've seen, some of the kits you've put together and some of the different things that you showcased. And, you have a good sense of like what this project should be and how long this will take to accomplish and, the pieces that need to go with it. I love the kits that you guys put together. They're really nice. How many of those are your designs, Tracy?
I keep adding more of this fuzzy stuff. So we'll see how this ends up when I post a picture of it next week.
Oh yeah, see, it needs more fuzzy. Yep, I love that.
Yeah.
That looks great.
See,
Vicky says, "Where's your chocolate? You got to eat a piece of chocolate." I know. I do have an iced mocha. Does that count?
wait,
I have chocolate in liquid form, so I'm going to count that.
I
And
have.
look, Tracy's got some. Oh, those are good, Tracy.
They're chocolate covered almonds called skinny dip. So they just have a very, very light little coating of.
Oh, I love that. That is very good.
And then they're rolled in cocoa powder. So yay.
Oh, I like that. The cocoa powder's really good. So we got a lot of people saying it looks beautiful, Tracy. This is a lot of fun. Kristen was saying I have a hard time walking away. That's totally my conflict. The timer is a great idea. Oh, good. I'm glad you like that. Jody saying, wow, love those colors, Tracy. Most of the projects take me 2 to 10 days to finish, says Michelle. That's good. You know, some of them just take more time, right? How fun. We did the spinning. Okay, coolio. Motorcrafts, Emily says, are your daughter-in-law and grandson still visiting? They are. So they're only day 3 into a 2-week visit. So I'm having a lot of fun with those guys. But
well,
anyway,
we better let you go so you can get back to it.
Right. We were in the water all morning, just having fun, doing a little boogie boarding and goofing around. And, you know, then we came home and ate pancakes. And I don't know what we're doing next. So we'll see. But he's having a little downtime. So that's nice. Gave me some good time here. But thanks, you guys. I really love doing these things and kind of designing in front of everybody. It's kind of exciting to see where things will go, and you just hope it works out.
Yeah, and it can be a little bit discombobulating for the first little bit of it. It's like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. What am I going to do? Yeah. And then things start coming together, and you kind of get into it. So
you make your choices and all that sort of thing, which is good. Yeah. Well, I love it.
Talk to each other,
Yeah, I like that. I think the idea of so many of us have expressed the interest in that. Of it's fun to create, but just creating by yourself all the time, you just want a little social group once in a while, somebody else there while you're doing it. So that can be fun. And I would encourage you guys that are part of different groups. I don't know if it works on the Great Bead Extravaganza's group, but I know other groups do that, is anybody can open up a chat room at any time and it hosts like 8 people or whatever. It's like a little mini Zoom. And you can just say, hey, you guys. Yeah, you can just get together and just a couple of you can just have some time and do some creativity together. So feel free to utilize that if you want to and pick up some new friends and make some stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I do that with the girlfriends occasionally, but we're always meeting for a drink. We never craft. Yeah. We wine, which works. I haven't used the Facebook chat rooms, but we'll do that on other platforms. So
it is nice. We need each other.
Thank you, everybody who joined us for this tech crazy kind of thing we did. We pulled it off.
Thanks to Tracy. Yeah, she figured it out. I'm so grateful.
So I guess we'll see everything, all the good stuff that people are making. We'll see it all on Monday or over the weekend. So
yeah, that sounds perfect. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. We really had fun with you. So until next time.
Chris, enjoy your visit with your family. So precious.
Thank you. I will. Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.